Good morning, happy Friday, happy New Year. I am so excited to be here live and in person at the GCNKAA office, here with my very good friend who needs no introduction, though I'm going to give him one in just a minute. Mr. Rod Herper with NCS is our first live edition of the Weekly Member Spotlight in I don't even know how long, like it's been approaching a year. So Rod, first thank you very much for agreeing to meet in person. You actually agreed only to meet if we were going to meet in person. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I do too many Zoom calls now. So.
I know, right? I think we're all over the on-screen, though that's worked out pretty well for this initiative. We were able to keep it going. Before we dive into your spotlight, I wanted to just say a few things on behalf of the association. First of all, again, Happy New Year from everyone at the GCNKAA. We are really excited to kick off 2021 with the hopes that very soon we'll be able to convene in person. We're planning some in-person events starting, I think, around mid-year, maybe a few earlier here and there, but I'm very, very excited for that. Next week, we kick off our start of our board meetings and committee meetings for 2021. So stay tuned to our social pages. You'll hear all of the details about the upcoming events and the schedule. I did want to make mention, though, because this was just announced, we have our first GMM meeting of 2021 coming up on January 19th, and Mr. Rick Graff, who is the 2021 chairman of the NAA, will be our guest speaker. It is going to be a Zoom meeting, so you'll want to register for that. Just contact Michelle or Susan or someone at the GCNKAA office, and they will get you registered. So again, we're off to the races here in 2021, and we are going to keep this initiative alive, whether it's in person occasionally, mostly on Zoom, I think, for the next few months at least. I also wanted to give a shout out to Amy Wilson, who is my new partner in crime with this initiative. You saw her first video, I think it was on Christmas Day, we actually aired that. She did a fabulous job, and we're going to get her back in the seat over here very soon. If you or anyone you work with or know in the industry wants to participate in this initiative, we invite you to reach out. We are working on the schedule for 2021 and very excited to get to know some of our new members and to see people hopefully again in person very, very soon. All right, Rod, are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, well, I said that you were going to get a proper introduction, even though you certainly need no introduction. You have been part of this association for quite some time, and I know you serve on our
association committee, golf committee, membership, used to be on membership,
right.
Business exchange, pretty much.
I think, when I think of this association and my time here, like you're one of the faces that I don't ever remember not seeing you here. You've always been supportive, and you're on associate council, and you have been for years and years. We're gonna have to check with Michelle. Is there a term limit on how many times someone can serve on associate council, or is Rod, you just, as long as you get voted in, you're golden?
I think if Jim Michelle was on it as long as.
Hey, that's true, that's true. So Rod is the, he didn't want me to say senior because he didn't want everyone to know what a big deal he is, though it's obvious. Rod runs the show here in this region. He's the Regional Sales Director for National Credit Systems. And Rod, I'd love to just start out by asking you to introduce yourself. We do have a lot of new members and folks who might not be as familiar with you as I am. Tell us about who you are, how long you've been involved with the association, and a little bit about NCS.
Yeah, my name's Rod Herper. I'm with National Credit Systems. Been with them 16 years and members of the association 16 years. Our company, I think, has been a member about 20. We used to have a rep prior to me that signed up. And, National Credit Systems is one of the larger players in the multifamily industry for collections. And everybody thinks it's a dirty business, but
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do it, and we help out a lot of property management companies and owners.
Well, I know we've kind of talked offline throughout COVID, because delinquency has obviously been a really hot topic in this industry for our owners and our clients and those of us who operate on behalf of those folks. But how have you seen this pandemic affect your industry, and what changes have come about because of that?
Well, definitely with the eviction and the COVID restrictions, we're seeing a lot of our clients around the country, depending what state they're located in, not turning over former residents or current residents right now. But I will say for 2020, collection recovery business was through the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
We think a lot of it was with the stimulus and the unemployment,
right.
People staying home, not spending money, mortgage rates being lower, people
right.
getting out of the apartments.
So they had to Yeah.
So we, since 1990, we set company records in 2020.
Wow.
So,
Really?
and 2021 is already following 2020.
Wow,
So,
well, that's interesting.
So,
Bright light, hopefully, for, you know.
yes.
I know there's quite a bit of delinquency out there. Do you have, well, first, another question that came to mind. Has your industry been affected by the moratorium, like specifically, or just indirectly by not as much getting turnover?
Basically, I mean, we have restrictions, certain states where we're not allowed to even call or send letters right now. But it's mainly a lot of our clients being careful. Just they've turned off collections completely. They just don't want to turn anything over and jeopardize a lawsuit right now.
Right. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I know it's, again, been a challenging year with the pandemic for everyone to kind of adjust, but it's encouraging to hear that not only have businesses survived but thrived. I think our industry is another example. We've rented more apartments in the latter half of the year than we did the year before, even without the pandemic. So there is a bright light. Hopefully 2021, we were talking earlier about the vaccine. Hopefully we'll, see some semblance of normal life return again. Well, having been in the industry for 16 years, you said, I'm sure you've seen your fair share of interesting anecdotes. What's one of your more memorable stories?
The industry's great. Most of my closest friends came from this industry, meeting over the years, and we formed some network groups outside of the association. We get together quite often, and not always all, play. A lot of business that happens in that. Just traveling and meeting everybody around the country. I used to be the vice president of sales at National Credit System, so I was the face and the voice nationally. So I got to attend a lot of the NAA stuff and meet quite a few people around the country. So.
Right. So, regarding your involvement with the GCNKAA, what do you think is the biggest benefit to you as a representative of NCS being involved with the GCNKAA?
Building the relationships and friendships, before business, helping us, I do have a pretty good share of the market, and that's the reason why I like to give back to GCNKAA, for, having the business that comes our way.
Well, one thing I wanted to say, because I feel like I did not do a great job the first half of my career networking at all. I was very focused on doing my job and nothing more, really. I didn't make the time to network and come to events as often and things like that. And one thing that I've learned, and I think you've taught me especially, is how valuable it is to know someone. And even if someone already does business with NCS or has another partner in that regard, you literally know everyone in this association. So for example, if I came to you and I was like, hey Rod, who should I call about, I don't know, fertilizer service or landscaping or whatever, you know everyone in this industry, everyone in the GCNKAA, and when you're networking with people who are as involved, especially on the associate side as you are, it's not just the single service that you offer, it's all of the people and the experience that you know from being such a big part of this organization.
Right. Yeah, and clients will always ask us, it's like, hey, who would you recommend for this? And, we just have a whole network of referrals.
How have you survived not having all the networking opportunities?
A few Zooms, our network group, unfortunately or fortunately, we still get together. With social distancing.
Right. Well, we're a good 6 feet or so here. I didn't measure the GCNKAA thing, but
not as many as normal. But,
right.
A good handful of us. I had lunch with one yesterday.
Yeah.
So we still try to squeeze it in for the ones that are not too terrifying.
Right. Well, it's interesting. We talked about NAA in the event. There was a virtual event, and it was obviously much different than seeing people in person. Going to those Zoom meetings and watching things online. Sometimes it's not as effective as it was maybe at the beginning, and so we've made the best of it, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been a year since we've seen some of our friends, but hopefully, here's to hoping 2021.
Yeah, I know. I only had one business trip in 2020. So
really? Wow.
Out of town, so.
Any on the books already for 21?
Not yet.
Are you planning Chicago for NAA?
Already registered.
Good.
So.
Well, that's good. I was disappointed that Dallas got canceled in November, I was very, very anxious, but it was for the best, obviously, and I was able to come to your booth. I think you might have been the only booth I actually was able to visit, though I did look at some of the stuff online. And, you know, we did the Apartment Association, we did our business exchange event virtually, and, you know, we heard a lot of great feedback from that, and we're going to do it virtually again coming up in March. It's interesting, we're going to make the announcement. Our reverse trade show and our in-person trade show are going to kind of swap time slots in 2021 with the hopes that we can get together in person with you and all of the associate members in the later part of the year.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Oh, yeah, for
it's
sure.
Been way too long.
It has been way too long. I'm actually a little worried about what might ensue when we're able to get together again. People can, you know,
Might have to up it to 4
maintain
drink
their,
tickets.
I know, right? Maintain their composure. Well, what kind of advice or perspective would you offer up to folks who are maybe new to this organization or new to the business?
Basically, just be patient, get involved. You know, get to know everyone in the association instead of just coming out of the gate looking to get instant business.
Right.
You know, because looking back, my first event, you know, I walked into a room not knowing anyone. Just get to know everybody, and you know, and then slowly work into the business relationship. So
Best advice. I would support that 100%. Well, is there anything else you want to say about NCS?
No, I mean, just if you're not using us, give me a call.
Very good. Well, I'd love to shift gears and get to talking a little bit more on the personal level. You know, I wanted to make mention at the beginning of this, I was so excited and anxious and nervous to be on camera again. We did, because Rod is on the Associate Council, and he was a part of this initiative way back in the very, very beginning before we even started doing videos. So I've been hounding you to do this in-person piece for quite some time, and so I didn't even look. I didn't even go back and look at your questionnaire from what, 2 or 3 years ago?
Almost 3. Yeah.
Almost 3 years ago, yeah. So, and they've probably all changed by now, I would
Most of
imagine.
it, yeah.
So this is going to be fun. Let's start off by just tell us about your family.
Well, I have a lovely wife, Sherry. We've been married 31 years.
Wow.
2 kids. My daughter, Alyssa, she's 19, going to school. Well, she attends UK, but doing virtual online.
Yeah.
And I have a son, 17, Trent, and he is at McNicholas High School.
Very good.
And we have 1 dog now, and then we have a temporary dog. My daughter's in a program at UK where she trains service dogs.
Really?
So
Well, that's interesting.
now that she moved back for the remaining school year, we have about a 70-pound lab in our
Aww,
house now.
that's really sweet.
And so she trains it and takes it everywhere. And
I have a family member who has a service dog, and it's incredible the training that the dog went through to get certified to be the service dog, and then to see him in action. Wow, that's impressive. Is this her first dog that she's working with?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow, that's exciting.
yeah, so she loves it.
Yeah.
She loves animals. And,
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, fine. Probably an interesting way to spend the first year of college, but
Right.
here's to, again, another next year of back to normal.
Yeah, the dog was living with her at her apartment down in
Oh,
UK.
fun.
And so our current dog, Bella, didn't like Avita coming into
Sharing,
the house.
yeah.
So they're getting to know each other.
Well, that's good. Sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
What do you guys like to do in your spare time, as a family or you individually?
Well, during COVID, we've been playing a ton of board games.
Yeah.
You know, every night or every weekend.
What's your board game of
Yahtzee.
choice? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love
love
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee,
I do
so.
too.
Other than that, my wife took up the game of golf. I'm a big golfer.
Yeah.
And so she took up the game last year, and during COVID, probably went out 2-3 times a week, her and I,
Yeah.
when everything was pretty much on shutdown or lockdown.
Has she caught up with your skills?
No,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
She's getting there. She's getting there. So she joined the ladies' league
Yeah.
and things like that. So she's got the bug.
What's your favorite local golf course?
Well, I live on the east side. I have a league at Legendary Run, but I live right next to the vineyard. So either one of those courses, but Oasis and some of the other. I like playing all over.
And what's your favorite course you've played anywhere?
Torrey Pines,
Yeah, and that's in California, right?
California, when we were out for NAA.
In San Diego?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think everyone I've ever asked me that question, says Torrey Pines. What's so great about Torrey Pines?
Just the view and just the scenery.
Is it the actual golf?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I feel like I've asked that question of a few
Mhm.
of your colleagues and our friends in this industry, and that is the resounding response. Well, are you much of a reader or listen to podcasts or anything
No,
like that?
not really. Not much of a reader. Do watch a lot of news and
Yeah.
weather and stuff like that, but just basically on my phone. I'm not a big TV
Right.
guy or anything like
No
that.
favorite shows or movies, anything like that?
Not really. Favorite movie would probably be Casino.
Oh yeah.
You know, so there's a few Netflix series that I've gotten into.
Yeah.
and,
What's your favorite Netflix series?
Ozark so far.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for-
So I want to start watching that because I
Yeah.
really love Jason Bateman, and I've heard of like that the story is
Right.
what it is. I've heard like the storyline, so that's on my very short list.
And then my son got me hooked on Cobra Kai, which
Yeah.
is off of Karate Kid.
Yeah.
So,
That keeps popping up. There's like a
Yeah.
trending. I think that's been the
I think the third season just
Yeah.
got released last week.
Yeah.
So.
nice. What I love about Netflix is you can binge things, and you know
Mhm.
us these days and our attention spans being what they are. Like, who wants to wait a week for another episode or 3 months for another season? So,
Right.
well, that's good. Well, we already talked about your pet. What about favorite food or restaurant?
Favorite food would probably be Mexican. You know.
I knew we liked each other for a
Yeah.
reason.
So we have a restaurant on the east side, and it's got good Mexican food. And a new one just opened up down in Anderson,
Mhm.
Rancheros.
Okay,
So you know, they kind of taken over.
like authentic Mexican.
Yeah. So.
Have you eaten at Nada, of course?
Yeah.
That's my fave. And then Bakersfield as well. That's
I
maybe
haven't been there yet.
It's
Couple
super
buddies.
small
Yeah.
and quaint, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's maybe the it's probably better than Nada, except Nada's homemade chips are
Right.
you can't really beat those. Well, what about sports? Are you a sports fan?
I am. Like I said, I play golf. I do a little bit of bowling. I bowled last night in a league with over in northern Kentucky with.
Nice. Do you use the bumpers when you bowl?
Nah. At times I should.
Yeah.
But we rekindle. I used to bowl with these guys 30 years ago.
Oh wow.
And one thought it would be good for us to get back together 2 years ago. So
Nice.
now we're all above 50 and some are over 60.
Do you have matching shirts?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. So.
Do you have a team name?
Yes, mine's in the gutter.
Mine's in the gutter. I like
Yeah,
that.
so.
You know, every time I think about bowling, I think about the Flintstones, and like that was their thing. Like anytime
Mhm.
they were like not at home, they were bowling, and the little sound that Fred makes. And
Yeah.
so I maybe bowl like once or twice a year, and for whatever reason, like that's all I can think of. So when I picture you bowling, I like picture the little. Twinkle
Well,
Toes
bowling just
Flintstone.
kind of replaces golf. You know, since golf, you know, you can't. You know, we're just looking for a night out and
Right.
having a few beers.
Nice.
So.
What's the best bowling alley in the Cincinnati area, would you say?
I don't travel around. I've only probably been at Cherry Grove and one over in northern Kentucky,
Yeah.
Florence. So
Yeah.
in Cherry Grove, the one up on my house is pretty nice. My wife and I do a co-ed once a month there with
Nice.
some other people. So
Do you watch sports on TV?
I do college basketball and NFL,
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy weekend for
Yeah.
some football this
So,
weekend. I'm
Getting
excited.
excited.
Yeah, very, very excited.
And I do dabble in horse racing with a couple of my BC members.
Yeah. Any luck recently?
We actually haven't been down at the track
Yeah.
lately, so it's, everybody's been busy with the holidays
Right.
and things like that. So.
Well, who's your NFL team of choice? Like, who are you rooting for?
Well, you know, season ticket holder for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Did give those up a couple years ago after a long time, but
Any regrets?
no, I'm saving my Sundays.
There you go.
But I do like New Orleans.
Yeah.
The Saints. So.
Very good. New Orleans, the city or the team or both?
The team.
Yeah. Well, what's one of your favorite vacations that you've been on?
Well, we were talking earlier. You know, my wife is basically our travel agent. And
Yeah.
She likes to go all over the place.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, in 2020, you know, we've been limited. So
Right.
going to Mexico and islands and cruises and things like that. So we just got back from Snowshoe. We rented a house up in Snowshoe. She likes the winter wonderland,
Yeah.
the snow, the cold, and all
Mhm.
that. So we went up there between Christmas and New Year's this year.
Nice.
So rented a house in the mountains.
Wow. Do you ski?
I do. My son snowboards,
Yeah.
and my wife and daughter doesn't.
Yeah.
So we rented snowmobiles that week and
Oh, that's fun.
did some tubing and just a lot of family time.
That's fun. Very good. What's the first vacation, or if you don't already have it planned, for 2021 when things get back to normal?
We already have a house for spring break down in Destin.
Nice.
You know, rented, so
Very nice.
she's ready to roll. So.
Now, when you go to Florida, do you drive or do you fly?
We typically drive
Yeah.
because my kids always want to bring somebody.
Oh,
So we always have to take 2 cars and all the stuff that my wife packs.
That's not. I'm totally that parent too. Like we very rarely, if ever, do anything with just our little group. It's always like, and you know, I have an only child,
Mhm.
but having a son and a daughter, I would imagine that's, you gotta let everybody have a friend, right?
Yeah, my daughter always takes more than one. So.
Oh, that's nice. Well, what is a random fun fact about you that we would not otherwise know? Having sitting down in this environment asking that question.
Well, for most of the people that know me and me being out, and you know, some people think I'm a party animal, but I love sitting home and around the house and around the pool, and just rather be home. And my wife's on the other hand, she has to be on the go all the time.
Really?
So, yeah. So very seldom
Yin
we're
and
home.
yang?
Yeah. So I just rather hang out at the house and
Really?
just chill.
And very seldom you are in the same place at the same time?
Exactly.
Is that the secret to longevity?
Yeah, I
Small
think so.
doses?
Yeah, and a little travel. So.
Well, that's nice. All right, well, before we ask the last question, are there any other exciting things we should know about Rod Herper?
I'm just a plain simple guy. I mean, just, don't do anything, outside of the norm. So.
Well, we appreciate everything you do at this association. I know, like I said, and all joking aside, because we were very good friends and known each other probably my entire career, but you are one of the most approachable people, friendly people. And if anybody is new into this association and not sure where to begin and or you're intimidated by in-person stuff coming back again in 2021, Rod is just seriously the most real person I think that I know as part of this organization, and
Appreciate
so
that.
I appreciate you, and full disclosure, Village Green is not a client of NCS, and I know you've worked very hard and you've done your diligence.
We're still working.
Hey, and I want you to still keep working, but what you've done to support me in my career and our company, and me in my role with the GCNKAA, and just everything that goes on here, you're definitely a constant, very approachable, and I appreciate all the support and hard work that you put into our events and our association. So thank you for that.
Appreciate the comments.
So I kind of just answered a question that I'm going to ask you, but how do you think people would describe you as an industry professional?
Depends on who you ask.
Well, I just
Some
gave
of-
that answer,
yeah,
but
yeah.
how do you think the average Joe would answer that question?
I think most of them would comment on some of your comments and being genuine and
Mhm.
approachable and
Mhm.
kind. I'm very easygoing. I don't get upset or angry, and I don't burn bridges in this association or
Right.
or in my career or my personal life. So so I just.
Well, I would second all of that. So thank you again, and thank you for meeting in person and giving
Thank you.
a reason to be involved. I was telling Rod and Michelle earlier, sometimes being confined to a space, even if you're on camera 8 to 10 hours a day, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you. I hope this is the first of more in-person interviews. And again, if anyone hasn't done the Spotlight, Rod, was I easy on you? Was it
Very easy.
anything too
No.
difficult? All right. Well, the threats work. Rod's like, if you put me on the spot, well, but this is really great. We're ready to kick off 2021. Look forward to seeing everybody in person again. Thank you, Rod. Everyone,
Thank you.
have a great weekend. Thank you.